This is a short installation video on how to install aftermarket clamps onto your KME system. The KME system is a great system, great knife sharpener, but it does have some limitations on the original clamp. Due to the geometry and the opening of the clamp and how it closes, it is limited to a certain amount of knife grinds. It cannot clamp all knife grinds securely, and it also suffers from the problem that it's a single clamp. So if you clamp wide knives like fillet knives or various longer kitchen knives, the end of the knife tends to flex, which affects your sharpening angle. So what we've done is designed a clamp bar that replaces the original clamp on the KME, on which you can install various aftermarket clamps. Here's an example of the KakBritva central wide clamp, Hapstone R2 clamp, or TSPROF Blitz clamps. Would be best to buy these in sets of 2 for the KME. To install it, we'll have to remove the original clamp entirely from the KME and replace it with the clamp bar. So what you'll have to do, remove the nut in the back, spring spacer or spring stopper, spring itself, second spring stopper, loosen the wing nut, remove the original KME clamp, set it aside, and then completely remove threaded bar, 1/4 inch threaded bar from the KME frame. Remove the back plate, and now you're ready to install the threaded bar into the clamp bar for the KakBritva system as an example. So firstly, take the threaded bar into the hole of the KakBritva, installing the metal back plate onto the back of the bar. The back side is the side without the recessed hole. Slide it into the center. Take your 1/4 inch threaded bar, original KME bar, through the hole, through the clamp bar, into the recess. Slide on the back metal spacer, into the hole of the frame. Take your tightening thumb nut, tighten that in a little bit, through the hole for the spring in the back. Install your spring stopper, facing it the correct way. Spring itself, second spring stopper, and the nut. Tighten everything up nicely, and you now have a bar for aftermarket clamps, which is still rotatable on your KME system. To install the KakBritva central wide clamp or 2 clamps, if you receive it with the original KakBritva mount in the back, that just needs to be removed. You can remove that with a 4 inch hex Allen driver. Simply remove the bolt, nut, and set it all aside. Now the clamp is ready to be used on the clamp bar. It can either be used on one side, on both sides, or as a last option, which I'll talk about a little bit later, is how to install it in the center of the bar. To install it on either side is very simple. There are slots in the bar in which you'll be installing your bolt, the KME clamp, and a nut. We'll supply the bolts and nuts to install the KME clamp on the bar. Either install it one side, both sides, or in the center, as I said before. Then you'll have the option to clamp longer knives or knives of various different grinds. You'll see that the KakBritva central wide clamp has a split in the center. That really helps for distal taper on many full flat ground or other knives. We also have on Creatomatic.com KakBritva clamps with cutouts inside, which helps for different angle grind knives. So the options are virtually endless on the amount of knives that you can clamp with these clamps. What I mentioned before is this can also be installed in the center of the clamp bar. Now for that, you'll just have to get a 4-inch long, 1/4 inch by 20 threaded bar and replace the original bar with one of those. Same process as before, except the KME or the KakBritva clamp will go onto the bar with a threaded rod right through, and you'll need a 1/4 inch nut inside to secure the bar, preferably a lock nut inside to secure the bar in position, which will mount your KakBritva clamp in the center of the KME bar. For the Hapstone R2, you'll install a Hapstone R2 bar, or for TSPROF Blitz clamps, you can install a TSPROF Blitz clamp bar. Same process, except the Hapstone clamps and the TSPROF clamps won't be able to be installed in the center because of the limitation of the size of a 1/4 inch rod. It will be too big to go through the hole in either of these clamps. We also have different types of KakBritva clamps that can be installed on this bar. We call them KakBritva side clamps, and they are single clamps, a little bit narrower than this one, that can also be installed in various different places and positions on the threaded bar.